Most people don't fail because they lack motivation, intelligence, or willpower. They fail quietly, almost invisibly, because of the tiny decisions they repeat every single day without noticing where those decisions are leading them. Imagine a plane leaving Los Angeles for New York that adjusts its direction by just a few degrees. The change is so small that no passenger would feel it, yet the plane would land in Washington, D.C. instead of New York. This is the quiet power James Clear introduces in Atomic Habits. The idea that small habits, repeated consistently, can completely redirect the course of your life. This book is not about overnight transformations or dramatic breakthroughs. It is about the unseen force of tiny improvements and how mastering them can make success inevitable. Mays Clear begins by dismantling the myth that big goals create big results. Instead, he argues that systems, not goals, are what truly shape outcomes. Goals define direction, but systems determine progress. Everyone wants to lose weight, get rich, write a book, or live a healthier life. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't lies in the daily processes they follow. Clear explains that if you improve by just 1% each day, the results compound over time into something extraordinary. Likewise, neglecting small negative habits leads to gradual decline. The tragedy is that progress often feels invisible at first. People give up because they don't see immediate results, not realizing they are in what Clear calls the plateau of latent potential, where effort is building beneath the surface before it finally breaks through. The book then shifts focus from outcomes to identity, which is one of its most powerful ideas. Clear explains that real behavior change is not about what you want to achieve, but about who you want to become. Many people try to change habits by focusing on results. I want to lose weight, or I want to be productive. Others focus on processes, diet plans, or productivity hacks. But the deepest level of change happens when you focus on identity. I am a healthy person, or I am the kind of person who shows up and does the work. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you believe you are. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems and identities. When habits align with identity, consistency becomes natural rather than forced. Clear then breaks habits down into a simple but powerful loop, consisting of 4 stages: cue, craving, response, and reward. Every habit begins with a cue that triggers the brain to initiate a behavior. The cue leads to a craving, which is the desire for a change in state. The response is the actual habit you perform, and the reward is the benefit you gain from it. Understanding this loop allows you to redesign your habits deliberately, rather than relying on willpower. Clear emphasizes that habits exist because they solve problems. Good habits solve problems effectively, while bad habits solve them poorly or temporarily. Once you understand the function a habit serves, you can replace it, rather than trying to eliminate it outright. From this framework, Clear introduces the 4 laws of behavior change, which serve as a practical blueprint for building good habits and breaking bad ones. To build a good habit, you must make it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. To break a bad habit, you reverse these laws by making it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. These laws are not abstract theories, they are grounded in behavioral psychology and neuroscience. And Clear supports them with real-life examples, historical anecdotes, and practical strategies. Making habits obvious starts with awareness. Clear introduces the concept of habit tracking and habit scorecards, which help you identify behaviors you perform automatically. Many habits operate below conscious awareness, which makes them difficult to change. By naming and observing them, you bring them into the light. Clear also explains the power of environment over motivation. People often assume that self-control is the key to success, but in reality, the environment shapes behavior far more than discipline ever could. If junk food is visible on the counter, you're more likely to eat it. If a book is on your pillow, you're more likely to read it. Designing your environment to make good habits obvious and bad habits invisible is one of the most effective ways to change behavior without relying on willpower. The second law, making habits attractive, focuses on desire. Clear explains that habits are driven by anticipation of reward, not the reward itself. He introduces temptation bundling, a technique where you pair a habit you want to build with something you enjoy. For example, only watching your favorite show while exercising. He also explains the powerful influence of social norms. We tend to imitate the habits of those close to us, those we admire, and the majority. If you want to build better habits, join groups where those habits are the norm. Behavior becomes attractive when it helps you belong. Making habits easy is perhaps the most liberating idea in the book. Clear challenges. The belief that success requires massive effort. Instead, he argues that habits should be optimized for simplicity. The goal is not to do something perfectly, but to do it consistently. He introduces the 2-minute rule, which states that any new habit should take less than 2 minutes to perform. Re-inputting becomes read one page. Exercise becomes put on gym shoes. This rule lowers the barrier to action and helps you master the habit of showing up. Once the habit is established, it can be expanded naturally. Clear also emphasizes the importance of reducing friction. The easier a habit is to perform, the more likely it is to stick. The fourth law, making habits satisfying, explains why habits that feel good immediately are repeated, while habits with delayed rewards are often avoided. The human brain is wired to prioritize immediate gratification over long-term benefits. Clear suggests using immediate rewards to reinforce good habits, such as tracking progress visually or celebrating small wins. He also explains how accountability and consequences can make bad habits unsatisfying. When actions have immediate social or financial costs, we are far less likely to repeat them. As the book progresses, Clear dives deeper into advanced strategies for habit mastery. He discusses the role of genetics and personality, explaining that habits stick best when they align with your natural tendencies. Instead of forcing yourself into someone else's routine, you should design habits that fit who you are. He also introduces the Goldilocks rule, which states that humans are most motivated when working on tasks that are just slightly beyond their current abilities. Too easy leads to boredom. Too hard leads to frustration. Sustainable progress lives in the middle. Clear also addresses the inevitable challenge of staying consistent over the long term. He explains that success is often about avoiding failure rather than achieving perfection. Missing a habit once is not a problem. Missing it twice is the beginning of a new habit. He emphasizes the importance of getting back on track quickly rather than allowing guilt to spiral into abandonment. Mastery, he explains, is not about intensity, but about longevity. In the later parts of the book, Clear explores how habits compound into life-altering results over years. Just as money compounds through interest, habits compound through repetition. The effects may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time, they shape your identity, your skills, and your opportunities. Clear also warns about the downside of habits, how they can lead to complacency if left unchecked. Reflection and review are necessary to ensure that habits continue to serve your goals rather than limit growth. The book concludes with a powerful reminder that success is not a single event, but a system of small choices repeated daily. You don't need to be exceptional to achieve exceptional results. You just need to commit to becoming 1% better, one habit at a time. Atomic Habits ultimately reframes personal growth from a struggle of willpower into a science of design. When you align your identity, environment, and systems, good habits become inevitable and bad habits fade away. The question is no longer whether change is possible, but which small habit you will choose today that your future self will thank you for.